right, happy Monday, y'all. Have you noticed a pattern? Have you noticed a pattern when, let's say, let's say you decided to do something, and then like you might go into this decision spiral, right? I see in entrepreneurship all the time when we have to deal with really extreme pressure. Like we might make a decision. Let's say one example that I can bring is that like when we have to do a change in our businesses and our lives, and because like one thing that I know for a fact, that a pivot, a change in your business is absolutely unavoidable. This is something that we have to adapt. The only constant in our business is a change, and the one pattern that actually that breaks rather economic stability in our businesses is when we don't know if we need to pivot, if we need to stop, or if we constantly at this cycle when we're starting out, when we're stopping, when we're starting out, when we're stopping. And this is a real deal because listen, one thing I know for a fact about human brain is works like an antenna, right? We constantly have like ideas, we constantly have downloads, we constantly have this um, um, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're running a business, we constantly have million approaches, million ideas, and a lot of those ideas are very, very wonderful ideas. But what is stopping us from breaking through is like actually this groundness and discernment, like whether we need to continue with a pattern or whether we need to quit, because I wish I had a really simple answer for you. I wish had a really simple answer for you. Like, if you're pivoting, you should absolutely pivot. If you are like, if you or if you are keeping the course, you should absolutely keep the course. Hello, Mary Kay. Happy to see you. Uh, and by the way, as you're joining me live, as you're joining me on the replay, say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're watching me from. And also, like, this is a discussion. This is not a lecture. And I really would like it to make it like two-way discussion. And by the way, if you're watching me watching me on YouTube, watching me on LinkedIn, I did something really different. Like today, I'm actually in front of my panoramic view. You probably can see it right now because it's kind of dark, but it will when there is a sunrise. So the sunrise in my room is absolutely gorgeous. Like the panoramic view is absolutely gorgeous. So, like when I do lives or recordings later in the day, or it will get bright later, like sooner, so like you will see absolutely the panoramic view from my window. So um this pattern that we like, that a lot of business owners have, like either we are pivoting too quickly, we're not letting our ideas sit. And how does like what is the pattern? So let's say we decided on the course, right? Like on the course of action, we decided that we're going to change something in our business. We decided to raise prices. We decided to stick to like certain business model, or we decided to launch certain offer. So, and as soon as our expectation is not meeting the reality, and the reality for the last for the last couple of years was rather like challenging reality in entrepreneurship, right? We had to execute a lot more patience because the market is a lot more discernment. The market also shifts, and the market layers like shifted dramatically. And our brain goes into like, oh, it's not working, I gotta pivot. It's not working, I gotta pivot. And this is, by the way, it's like this pattern is very much persistent across all the levels of business. You can be 10 years in business, you can be 5 years in business, and I see that pattern because like sometimes the best strategy is actually to see it through. And also another devastating strategy for a devastating pattern for entrepreneurs is actually waiting too long. And waiting too long is like it looks like selling what is selling, but you already know that your next vision of your business is completely different, but you are selling it out of safety, out of comfort, right? And the reality of business, if you want to stay in business, right, like if you want to be in business for a for a long run, and ask people who've been in business for many years, like innovation is the key. And it's not like that you have to sell different things, that you have to like pivot from offer to offer, audience to audience. It's just like little things like marketing, little things like messaging, little things like market fits, like those change, like those things are changing. And businesses that been a while, and businesses that been for a long run in the market, this is exactly what they're doing. But now, like we all know that this pattern is absolutely devastating for so many business owners. Like why we're doing it, and what is the problem, and more importantly, what to do with that. Number one, what I really want to bring with this live stream series, and I'm going to do a series of live streams, like I want to bring the idea that our our brain and our psyche is a system. And this is like it actually derives from internal family systems that I absolutely love. And like if we look at our psyche, our brain as a system, what system what all systems have in common. All system do absolutely everything and anything necessary to stay in homeostasis, meaning stay in a zone of safety, stay in a zone of in a zone of where they can be absolutely safe and not harmed. So what does it mean, like how does it affect your business specifically in your life? Because it's not about procrastinating, it's not about delaying your decision, it's about understanding how your business work, and understanding how your psyche work, right? If your psyche was organization, if your system, if your internal system was organization, like big corporate organization, like I don't know about you, like I work at big corporate organization. So in any organization, and Mary Kay, I think you will resonate with this really well. In any organization, in any systems, we have protectors. Protectors will defend our status quo. They're managers. And with the internal family system, we have two types of protectors. We have managers who either like create certain behaviors that will stop us from going forward on what we decided to do, because it doesn't feel safe, because some part of us was previously hurt or wounded. Maybe it was a burnout. Maybe it was an unsuccessful launch or many unsuccessful launches. Maybe it was multiple failures in business. and that manager says like, hey, like, I know that you have in mind is $1 million idea. I know where this is going. I know the market is changing and you need to do something different. You're not going to do it because last time you did it you were hurt significantly, so we're going to keep that part of you safe by either controlling the outcome, controlling or try to control, right? Because the only thing that we can control is our effort. We try control the outcome, we try control the social media, we try control our customers, we try control our teams and our clients, and the truth is we can't really control anything. Or all of a sudden, like, and let me know if it resonates, all of a sudden we know what we need to do and we are tired, and we tell ourselves, you know what? I'm going to regulate my nervous system and I'm not going to put much effort today because, like, I feel tired, I feel uncomfortable. Business is not like, business is not meant to be comfortable. And this is why I love this approach so much, because like when you work with your system, it will get uncomfortable, managers will get in the way, protectors will get in the way. Then we're not going to talk about this too much, but there are also firefighters. They're your reactive behaviors, right? Either your addictive behaviors or just reactive behaviors that they're not serving you, but they're on the deep level protecting you. So, and hence, like, we either doing the same thing over and over again and it's not changing. Maybe we tell ourselves, well, I paid a lot of money for this contractor. I paid a lot of money for this system. I paid a lot of money for this strategy, and clearly it works for some people. I just need more time for it to work. And listen, if it's been like over a year and that system has not been working really well for you, 2026 is an invitation for you to actually start doing something differently. And also, if you are decide like, and like, it might sound like I speak from the both sides of my mouth for a second, but here's the thing, like, if you know if you want to pivot, if you want to change, if you want to change something in your business, you got to ask yourself those questions. Like, number one, is it like, why do you want to pivot? Because, like, either, like, if something is not working, yes, you have to change something, but have you put maximum effort before any change? Because if you have not put maximum effort, if you have not exhausted if you have not pivot within, like, your what you're currently doing, either pivoting in, like, doing something differently in your messaging, doing something differently in your marketing, really dissecting your numbers, and dissecting your numbers not from this place of control, but rather from the place of discernment and, like, really self leadership, looking at harsh numbers through absolutely sober self, honest self, and being 100% honest with yourself, then you have not earned your pivot yet. Because, like, when you change something, the same system mechanisms, the same protectors, the same firefighters, the same behaviors, they will evolve, like, absolutely 100%. So, because, like, when you understand that you are a system, and the system, what system does? System, most and foremost, does everything in its power to protect the status quo, to protect safety. Until you address your internal managers, until you address your internal protectors, until you address your internal firefighters, until you actually unburden that wounded part that experienced negative experiences in the past, so that part feels safe to move forward, nothing will change. Absolutely nothing will change. And we also see it in hiring too, in hiring support, whether hiring team members, hiring coaches, hiring contractors. And this is something that I'm going to talk about on Wednesday. So let me see what you say in the comments. So I love your background aligning. Thank you, Mary Kay. Absolutely, protectors. Um, Yes, from corporate. Yeah, like Mary Kay, I remember you coming to my podcast and you were talking about like your internal protector. This is exactly what it is. Like this is the manager. This is the manager who keeps the system safe, even though it's not necessarily serving that system to move forward. The status quo is not necessarily serving the system. I think it depends on uh, magnitude of the pivot, yes. Small pivots can be quick, fail fast, yes. And experience, yeah. Mary Kay, absolutely. And this is something that I call the nervous system elasticity and nervous system capacity, because you gotta like it's like I like one example that I can think of. It's like kind of learning how to bike. You're going to fall, and it's going and it's not gonna be comfortable. By the way, embarrassing personal detail. I don't know how to bike. Maybe because I was like too afraid of falling. So like, well, I try to bike, but I never it's just not a thing. Like I know how to do it. I know the mechanism. I've done it once, but like I don't know how to bike. So like that's a little personal embarrassing detail about me. But small pivots, yeah, and this is what you do in the business too. Like you identify what like okay, but how can we absolutely fail safe, right? Let's say like okay, what is the new avenue of marketing? So like for example, something that I do this year in particular, I'm testing Substack. I'm testing writing articles. I'm testing repurposing my podcast episodes in articles and sharing it on Substack, sharing it on LinkedIn newsletter, because like one thing I understand about my system, like I'm not a social media influencer. Like I like creating content, but also there are certain like there is a certain type of people who like they will go live, they will go on social media, and like everybody will love them and everybody will follow them. And this is something that come to people naturally. It doesn't come to me naturally. I've been on social media since 2017. Social media helped me tremendously in my tech career. Like I landed really, really big jobs. Social media helped me tremendously in my business, but also like I understand I'm talking on a very deep level. I'm talking about like a nervous system. I'm talking about like really big fundamental aspects. It's not a quick win. It's not another funnel. It's not how to make $10,000 a month like within 90 days. Like this is not a hacky business, right? Like I'm like and also like when I look at my clients, all of my clients that I have previously worked are very deep entrepreneurs. They're consultants, they're subject matter experts, they have built wonderful careers in corporate, and now they either leveraging that corporate experience into their own consulting or coaching experience, or they're combining both. They're speakers, they're podcast hosts, they're speaking at conferences, they're building their own conferences, they're building their own tech startups. So that's the type of clients that I'm working with, and that type of clients, like, and this historically, right, like this is historically who come and work with me, and those type of clients, they where they're at. I mean, of course, like everybody is on every social media platform, but Substack, this is where a lot of people just quietly read articles or watch like content, right? It's a lot quieter platform. I'm testing it. Also, uh, we don't own social media, right? And also, like this is where I can feel safe, right? If Substack is not working in 6 months and it's not producing subscribers, clients, nothing, I just gonna drop that platform. I am not attached to it. I'm not attached to it, right? Whether like whereas like LinkedIn, for example, it's a little bit different platform because like I majority of my clients came from LinkedIn, and this is a lot, and this is a harsher decision. Like, right, if I were to choose to drop LinkedIn, that's rather like a big marketing pivot, right? Because like Instagram is neither here nor there. Like I land speaking engagements through Instagram, but not consistent clients yet. Again, because like not a social media influencer. Like I go deep. So but it's another like but with even with Instagram, right, it's not that the platform is bad, it's not that like it's not suitable for me. It's like, okay, how do like what else can I test, because that platform brings me the broader spectrum of audience, like people who actually consume content on that platform, people who actually resonate with that platform, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, I went on a little tangent, and like, I totally didn't mean to go on a little tangent, but these are examples. These are my personal examples how I test and fail safe, because like I, I'm perfectly fine failing on Substack. I'm perfectly fine figuring out what I'm doing wrong on Instagram. And, you know, like apparently there are a lot of things that I could have done better, right? One platform that I will not abandon is YouTube. And YouTube as a platform that requires patience and mastery. And like if you don't get better at video and delivery and packaging your expertise, like that platform, like that is a very harsh platform. But also historically, I know best of my contracting and consulting gigs came from YouTube, because people see my expertise live, and at that point it was not about perfection. So nervous system, exactly. Yeah, thank you for putting words in this concept. Yes, like America, I'm really, really glad that it resonates. So um, because this is the essence. Um, I gotta go. Join me on Wednesday, because on Wednesday we're gonna talk about another pattern, like hiring pattern. And hiring pattern, like this is really good live stream, because we're gonna talk about the internal system and how that internal system will interfere, either help or not help when you're looking to hire other people. And it comes when you're hiring a coach, when you're hiring a team member, when you're hiring a contractor. Um, that like hiring can expose, especially on early stages, hiring will expose a lot of things. This is why a lot of founders, as soon as they can, they hire chief of staff person who can do hiring professionally, because hiring is so personal, and our personal instabilities, our personal insecurities, our attachment styles, they will come up in hiring. Like, and we essentially we are hiring. And this is something that I'm going to talk next week. We are hiring the same person, but um, with different faces at the end of the day, and this pattern, that's something that I will untangle next Wednesday. But this Wednesday, we're going to talk about disappointment while during hiring process, and more importantly, what to do about that. Thank you so much for joining, Mary Kay. I appreciate you being here. Also, if you're watching on replay, let me know that you're watching on replay, and I will repurpose this. Live streams in my podcast. So if you're listening on my podcast, do me a solid, leave me a review, leave me the comment, let me know how my podcast influences you, your life, your business, and yourself personally. All right, thank you so much. I gotta go, and have a fantastic Monday, y'all.